Are you starting your morning with coffee, thinking it's boosting your energy? But what if I told you it could also be silently shutting down your body's most powerful repair system? What if one simple addition to your coffee could help reactivate your stem cells, the very cells responsible for healing, regeneration, and even slowing down aging? Here's what's really going on inside your body. Every single day, your body is trying to repair itself. Your skin, your muscles, your brain, even your blood vessels all rely on a special group of cells called stem cells. Think of them as your body's internal repair crew. They replace damaged cells, reduce inflammation, and help you recover from stress, aging, and even metabolic damage. But here's the problem. Most people today have suppressed stem cell activity, not because of genetics, but because of lifestyle, high insulin levels, chronic inflammation, poor sleep, nutrient deficiencies. All of these factors send a signal to your body: stay in storage mode, not repair mode. And your morning routine, especially what you put in your coffee, plays a much bigger role than you think. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your body is a construction site. Stem cells are the workers. Hormones like insulin and cortisol are the managers. If the managers are constantly shouting, store energy, handle stress, survive, then the workers never get the signal to repair, rebuild, and upgrade. And this is exactly what happens when your metabolism is out of balance. Now, here's the exciting part. What the research shows is that certain natural compounds, especially specific fats, polyphenols, and micronutrients, can actually signal your body to switch back into repair mode. They can lower unnecessary insulin spikes, reduce inflammation, support mitochondrial energy, and most importantly, activate pathways linked to stem cell regeneration. And yes, you can deliver some of these signals first thing in the morning through your coffee, but not just any coffee, and definitely not the way most people are drinking it, because adding sugar, artificial creamers, or even drinking coffee at the wrong time can block these benefits entirely. So in this video, I'm going to break this down step by step, like we're standing at a whiteboard together. We'll cover what actually turns stem cells on versus off, the biggest mistake people make with their morning coffee, and the exact ingredients you can add, backed by science, to support your body's natural repair system. This isn't about hype or shortcuts. This is about understanding your biology and using simple strategic tools to work with your body, not against it. Because when you activate repair, everything changes. Your energy improves, your metabolism becomes more efficient, your aging process slows down at the cellular level. So if you're someone who cares about longevity, fat loss, mental clarity, or just feeling like your body is working for you again, you're going to want to pay very close attention. Let's get into it. Let's start with the foundation, because if you don't understand this, nothing else will make sense. Why are your stem cells not as active as they should be? Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your stem cells are highly sensitive to your metabolic environment. They don't just randomly activate, they respond to signals. And the two most powerful signals are insulin, inflammation. Now, let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your stem cells like elite repair engineers. They only show up when the environment is safe, stable, and energy efficient. But if your body is constantly in a high alert state, driven by elevated insulin and chronic inflammation, those engineers are told to stand down. No repair, no regeneration, just survival. And this is exactly what's happening in most people today. Every time you consume sugar, refined carbs, or even certain healthy processed foods, your insulin spikes. Now, insulin is not bad. It's essential. But chronically elevated insulin sends a very specific message to your body. Store energy. Don't burn. Don't repair. This directly suppresses key pathways like autophagy, your body's natural cleanup system, and reduces stem cell activation. At the same time, inflammation adds another layer of suppression. When your body is inflamed, whether from poor diet, lack of sleep, stress, or gut issues, it prioritizes defense over repair. So instead of regenerating tissue, your body is constantly trying to manage damage. And over time, this leads to slower recovery, increased fatigue, stubborn fat storage, accelerated aging. Now, here's where your morning routine becomes critical. Because after an overnight fast, your body is actually in a unique metabolic window. Insulin is low, your body is more sensitive to nutrients, repair pathways are more accessible. This is a golden opportunity to either activate repair or shut it down for the entire day. And most people, without realizing it, shut it down instantly. How? By adding sugar to their coffee, by using flavored creamers loaded with hidden carbohydrates, or by eating a high-carb breakfast right after. This spikes insulin early and flips your body back into storage mode. Let me make this very clear. You cannot activate deep cellular repair in a high insulin state. It's like trying to renovate a building while alarms are going off. It just doesn't happen. What the research shows is that maintaining a low insulin environment, especially in the morning, helps activate pathways like fat burning, lipolysis, cellular cleanup, autophagy, and yes, stem cell signaling. This is why strategies like intermittent fasting, low-carb nutrition, and strategic nutrient timing are so powerful. They create the internal conditions your body needs to repair itself. So before we even talk about what to add to your coffee, you have to remove what's blocking the process, because no supplement, no ingredient, no superfood will work if your metabolic signals are going in the wrong direction. This is the first principle: control insulin, reduce inflammation, create the environment for repair. Everything else builds on top of this. And once you get this right, that's when small additions, even something as simple as what you put in your coffee, can have a disproportionately powerful effect. If this is making sense so far and you're starting to see your morning routine differently, consider subscribing, because I break down complex health topics like this every single day in a way you can actually use. Now let's move to the next piece, because even if you're avoiding sugar, there's another hidden mistake in your coffee that could still be blocking your results. Now let's talk about the mistake that almost nobody sees, because even if you've removed sugar from your coffee, you might still be blocking your body's ability to activate repair and stem cell activity. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Your morning isn't just about what you consume, it's about timing and hormonal signaling. Specifically, we need to talk about cortisol. Cortisol is your body's natural wake-up hormone. It follows a rhythm, rising sharply in the early morning to help you feel alert, focused, and ready to start your day. This is normal. This is healthy. But here's the problem. When you drink coffee too early, especially within the first 30-60 minutes of waking, you're stacking caffeine on top of already elevated cortisol. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine cortisol is like your body pressing the gas pedal to get you moving. Now caffeine comes in, and instead of helping smoothly, it slams the pedal even harder. At first, you feel great, alert, focused, energized. But under the surface, this creates a stress signal, and your body responds by increasing blood sugar, insulin, and inflammatory markers. Now remember what we said earlier: high insulin and inflammation. Your stem cells stay off. So even if your coffee is clean, no sugar, no carbs, drinking it at the wrong time can still push your body into a state that prioritizes stress over repair. And it doesn't stop there. This early caffeine spike can also lead to energy crashes later in the day, increased cravings, especially for sugar, poor metabolic flexibility, disrupted sleep at night, and poor sleep is one of the biggest suppressors of stem cell activity, so it becomes a cycle. You wake up tired, drink coffee immediately, spike cortisol, crash later, disrupt sleep, reduce repair, wake up tired again. Now here's what the research and physiology suggest instead. Delay your coffee intake by 60-90 minutes after waking. Why? Because this allows your natural cortisol rhythm to stabilize. Instead of overstimulating your system, you're working with your biology. During this window, your body completes its natural wake-up process, maintains a lower insulin state, keeps repair pathways more accessible. Then when you introduce caffeine at the right time, you get more stable energy, better fat oxidation, less stress signaling, and a more favorable environment for regeneration. Now let's connect this back to stem cells. Stem cells thrive in a low stress, low insulin, high efficiency environment. When cortisol and insulin are constantly elevated, your body shifts into survival mode. But when you control timing, you send a different message. Energy is stable, no emergency. It's safe to repair. This is subtle, but powerful. Because again, it's not about forcing your body, it's about creating the conditions where your body naturally does what it's designed to do. So before we even talk about the powerful ingredient you can add to your coffee, make sure you're not making this timing mistake, because even the best strategy won't work in the wrong environment. Now let's talk about the part you've been waiting for. What can you actually add to your morning coffee that helps activate repair pathways and support stem cell function at a deeper level? The answer is not sugar. It's not artificial creamers. And it's definitely not flavored syrups. It's something much simpler. Healthy fats, specifically MCT oil or grass-fed butter or ghee. Now this might sound basic, but the physiology behind this is incredibly powerful. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you add MCT oil, medium chain triglycerides, to your coffee, you're giving your body a clean, fast-burning fuel source that bypasses the normal digestive process. Instead of being stored like typical fats, MCTs go straight to your liver and are rapidly converted into ketones. And ketones are not just fuel, they are signaling molecules. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of glucose as regular gasoline. It powers your car, but it creates more exhaust. Ketones, on the other hand, are like a clean-burning premium fuel. They produce energy with less oxidative stress, and more importantly, they send signals that say, energy is efficient, inflammation is low, you can switch into repair mode. And this is where stem cells come in. What the research shows is that ketones can help activate pathways linked to reduced inflammation, improved mitochondrial function, enhanced cellular signaling, and increased expression of genes involved in repair and longevity. Now, does this mean your stem cells increase 1000x overnight? No, and it's important to stay grounded here. But what it does mean is this. You are creating a biological environment where stem cells are more likely to activate, function, and support repair. And that's what matters. Now let's talk about grass-fed butter or ghee. These contain butyrate, a short-chain fatty acid that supports gut health and reduces inflammation, fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K2, critical for cellular signaling, and compounds that support your immune system and metabolic health. Butyrate, in particular, plays a key role in regulating inflammation and supporting the gut lining. And remember, a healthy gut has lower inflammation, has better stem cell signaling. Now here's how to use this in a practical, simple way. Morning coffee protocol. Step 1. Black coffee, high quality, no sugar. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons of MCT oil, start small to avoid digestive discomfort. Optional, 1 teaspoon grass-fed butter or ghee. Blend it, don't just stir, to improve absorption. This creates what many people call functional coffee or fat-fueled coffee. But the goal here is not just energy, it's metabolic signaling. You're keeping insulin low, you're providing clean fuel, you're reducing inflammation, and you're supporting pathways linked to repair. Now, one more important point. This works best when your body is already in a relatively low insulin state, and which is why timing and food choices matter. If you add this on top of a high-carb breakfast, you lose most of the benefit. So think of this as part of a larger strategy, not a magic trick. And when you combine proper timing, low insulin signaling, and the right fuel source, that's when you start to see real changes in energy, focus, fat metabolism, and long-term cellular health. Now let's go one level deeper. Because understanding what to do is helpful, but understanding why it works inside your cells is what makes this powerful. Here's what's really going on inside your body. At the center of everything we've talked about, energy, fat burning, stem cells, aging, are tiny structures inside your cells called mitochondria. These are your energy factories, but they're not just producing energy. They're constantly sending signals that determine whether your body is in growth mode, store fat, increase inflammation, or repair mode, burn fat, activate regeneration. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your mitochondria like the power grid of a city. If the grid is overloaded, inefficient, and producing a lot of pollution, the city starts to break down. But if the grid is clean, efficient, and stable, the city can repair, expand, and thrive. Now, here's the key. Most people today are running on a glucose-heavy system, meaning their mitochondria are constantly burning sugar. And while that provides quick energy, it also produces more oxidative stress, essentially cellular exhaust. This exhaust damages cells, increases inflammation, and sends a signal that says, conditions are not stable. Focus on survival. And again, survival mode, stem cells stay inactive. Now, when you introduce ketones, like the ones produced from MCT oil, something very different happens. Ketones are a cleaner burning fuel. They produce less oxidative stress, more stable energy, and stronger signaling for repair pathways. One of the key pathways influenced here is something called AMPK. Think of it as your body's energy sensor. When AMPK is activated, it tells your body, burn fat for fuel, improve mitochondrial efficiency, reduce inflammation, activate cellular cleanup processes. And this creates an environment where stem cells are more likely to function effectively. At the same time, ketones help downregulate another pathway called mTOR, which is associated with growth and storage when overactivated. Now, mTOR is not bad, but when it's constantly turned on, especially through high-carb, high-insulin diets, it suppresses repair and accelerates aging. So what you're doing with this simple coffee upgrade is actually shifting your body from constant growth mode to strategic repair mode. Now let's connect another important piece, inflammation control, because inflammation is one of the biggest blockers of stem cell activity. When inflammation is high, your body diverts resources toward defense, not regeneration, but compounds found in coffee itself, polyphenols, MCT oil through ketone production, and butter, jia ji through butyrate, all contribute to lowering inflammatory signals. This creates a calmer internal environment where your body can finally prioritize repair. And here's something most people overlook. This isn't about one single pathway, it's about stacking small advantages. Lower insulin, better mitochondrial function, reduced oxidative stress, balanced hormones, controlled inflammation. Individually, each of these is helpful, but together, they create a powerful shift in your biology. And this is why something as simple as your morning coffee, when done correctly, can have a ripple effect throughout your entire day. More stable energy, fewer cravings, better focus, improved metabolic flexibility, and over time, better support for your body's natural ability to repair and regenerate. Now let's bring everything together into something simple, practical, and repeatable. Because at the end of the day, your body doesn't respond to information. It responds to what you consistently do. So here's a clear morning protocol you can start using immediately to support repair, metabolic balance, and stem cell activation pathways. Let's walk through this like a checklist. First, when you wake up, do not reach for coffee immediately. Give your body 60-90 minutes to naturally regulate cortisol. Instead, start with a glass of water with a pinch of mineral salt to rehydrate and support adrenal balance. Light movement, walking, stretching, or just getting sunlight in your eyes. This helps stabilize your circadian rhythm and prepares your metabolism for the day. Second, delay food intake slightly. You don't need to force a long fast, but allowing a short window where insulin stays low helps keep your body in a mild repair-friendly state. Even 12 to 14 hours of overnight fasting can make a difference. This is where your body begins to tap into fat stores, activate cellular cleanup, improve metabolic flexibility. Third, your upgraded coffee. After that 60-90 minute window, now you introduce your coffee strategically. The protocol: black coffee, preferably high quality, low toxin source. Add 1-2 teaspoons MCT oil. Optional, 1 teaspoon grass-fed butter or ghee, blend for 10 to 15 seconds. This creates a smooth, stable energy source that keeps insulin low, provides clean fuel through ketones, reduces cravings later in the day, and most importantly, it sends a signal of energy stability, which supports repair pathways. Fourth, protect the low insulin window. Try to avoid pairing this with sugar, pastries, high carb breakfast foods, because the moment insulin spikes, you shut down the very processes you're trying to activate. If you do eat later, focus on protein, healthy fats, fiber rich vegetables. This helps maintain metabolic balance throughout the day. Fifth, stack the lifestyle signals. Remember, stem cell activity is not controlled by one thing. It's influenced by your entire environment. So to amplify the effect, focus on sleep. 7-8 hours of quality sleep is non-negotiable. Stress management, chronic stress elevates cortisol and inflammation. Movement, even light daily activity improves insulin sensitivity. Sunlight regulates hormones and circadian rhythm. These are not extras, they are multipliers. Now let me simplify everything into one core principle. You are not forcing your body to heal. You are removing the signals that block healing. That's the shift. And once your body feels safe, stable, and efficient, it naturally begins to repair. That includes better energy, better metabolism, and stronger cellular function over time. If this is helpful so far, and you're serious about optimizing your health naturally, consider subscribing, because this is exactly what I focus on every day. Simple strategies backed by physiology that actually work in real life. Now let's close this out, because understanding is powerful, but action is what creates results.